One project gets some decent views, and suddenly everyone starts copying it. Fuck it, I'm doing it as well. Welcome back, people. Today we're doing what YouTube calls taking inspiration, and what some people in the comments might describe slightly different. So taking someone else's project and adding our own spin to it. Everyone does it, so it's only fair to join the club. I'm talking about Sawdust and More and his floating cross project, which you should go and watch after this video, as it's genuinely really clever. His version floats with magnets, which is already a cool idea, but naturally I couldn't leave it alone. I had to start wondering, can we turn it into a lamp? And that's what we're gonna try to do today. So without further ado, let's get it done. Right then, let's get started. If you're planning to build one of these, clear a few hours, because this isn't one of those magical 5-minute YouTube projects. My version is taking a pretty different direction, since I'm attempting to make the whole thing from a single 2x4. That means we're starting with resawing and gluing up the lamp base. A process I enjoy almost as much as reading comments from people who own better tools than me. I usually avoid giving exact dimensions because the whole point is to make your own version, not build an exact clone of mine. But to save you a bit of guessing, the base starts as glued board about 7 by 7 inches and 1 inch thick. That's all you're getting. The rest is maths, and unfortunately I can protect you from that. If your table saw shares my saw's relaxed attitude towards accuracy, you'll probably need a thicknesser at this point. You can also use a hand plane if you're feeling traditional and have an afternoon to spare. Either way, get everything nice and flat. It won't make the project better, but it'll make it look like you knew what you're doing. Time to make the lamp neck. We are still using the same 2x4 because squeezing an entire project out of one board feels strangely satisfying. And because I'm too committed to the idea to stop now. After ripping it in half, there's just enough material left to make this work. I measured everything carefully, checked it twice, said a few encouraging words to myself, and somehow reached the level of confidence required to turn to the bandsaw. Whether that confidence is justified remains to be seen. I'm trying not to copy Sawdust and More piece for piece, so I've gone with a rabbet joint for this part, assuming that's actually what it's called. If not, don't worry, I'm sure someone in the comments is probably already typing a strongly worded explanation. As much as I love my bandsaw, it does occasionally cut like it's being paid by the mistake. So I'm cleaning the joint up with a chisel before reaching for the glue. And because every project deserves a touch of sophistication, I'm also going to pop a brad in its ass, as a certain YouTuber would say. Truly the language of master craftsmen. With the glue drying, let's make ourselves useful and drill a 1-inch hole for the top magnet. A generous application of our beloved CA glue will hold it in place. And then we can move on to yet another experiment, because every successful project starts with the words, "I wonder what happens if." Apparently, owning a compass was one tool purchased too far, so I made my own. The goal is to draw a perfect circle and then see how much of it survives a meeting with a bandsaw. This base is becoming so labor intensive that I'm considering charging it rent. With the base out of the way, it's time to build a cross. And yes, the same 2x4 is still providing material. I'm beginning to suspect this board has a stronger work ethic than I did. Let's cut it into 3/4 inch square strips and keep this experiment moving. For this cross, I'm using a center lap joint. It's one of those techniques that looks impressive, but is actually pretty straightforward. If this part feels complicated, I've got plenty of older videos covering similar joints. Think of it as a free education delivered by a man with questionable woodworking skills and unjustified confidence. Now make sure you chamfer every edge, and when you think you're done, chamfer a few more just to be safe. It's the woodworking equivalent of a cheat code. Suddenly, everything looks more expensive and intentional. Trust me, this is one of the very few things I actually know. Next up, another magnet goes into the top of the cross, along with a hidden screw at the bottom, so we can mount it to the base. I'm fairly convinced this is different from what everyone else is doing, but confidence and accuracy don't always travel together. If I'm wrong, I'm sure the comment section will sort that out immediately. Make sure the hole in the base is drilled perfectly straight and directly in line with the magnet. I know close enough is usually the motto around here, but this is one of the rare occasions where accuracy genuinely matters. Now for everyone's favorite part, turning a perfectly good piece of wood into a pile of chips. Mark the battery pack location on the underside of the base and start hogging out the material with your router. It's messy, chaotic and mildly annoying, but sadly there is no clever shortcut for this one. A tight fit for the magnet, which is another way of saying my cuts were suspiciously accurate. I kept the burnt finish for the final step because I know it has its funs. It's quick, effective, and should make at least a few people from the last video comment section sleep better tonight. You know who you are. With the main parts finished, we can glue the neck and the base together. Next comes the exciting task of feeding the fairy light string through the hole in the base and carefully wrapping it around the cross. By exciting, I mean slightly frustrating and surprisingly time-consuming. Still, this is the part that really brings the project to life, so it's worth the effort. As for making the cross float, don't worry if it takes a few tries. Balancing magnets is part science, part luck, and part pretending you know what you're doing. As always, likes and comments cost absolutely nothing, so make sure you hit that like button. Then check out one of these videos next so the YouTube algorithm can continue pretending we're friends. All the best, and I'll see you in the next one.